Hello, everyone. Well, lots of rain for some in southern Wisconsin today, a whole lot of wind for everyone tomorrow, and oh, yeah, much cooler temperatures as well. Lots to talk about, so let's get started. 8 a.m. this morning. This is going to be the driest part of the day. I do have to mention the chance for some rain in the far northwestern part of the area because this is the cold front actually already starting to push in. See that 51 in Viroqua, but 57 in Bosqueville and sitting in the low 60s across the rest of southern Wisconsin. I do think most of us, though, in southern Wisconsin are going to have a dry morning commute, but this front is going to be trying to push in. The thing is, by the late morning, it already looks like it's going to be stalling out in the western part of the area. So just to the west of Madison, it looks like this front is going to stall out. Now there is going to be an influence with this front. It's already going to be cooler for all of us today across southern Wisconsin, but definitely a lot cooler in the western part of the area than the eastern part of the area. And look how once we get to noon, and definitely more showing up with the activity filling in into the central part of the area. But I tell you, throughout the day and into tonight as well, it is going to be a struggle for this activity to push into the most eastern part of southern Wisconsin. Going to be breezy this afternoon. It's going to be staying breezy with gusts 20 to perhaps up to 25 miles per hour. Let's take a look at temperatures at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So here's the variety that I'm talking about. Look how it's going to be in the mid to upper 60s in the southeastern part of the area, Lake Geneva, Racine, Kenosha. But in Madison, upper 50s, Baraboo, Portage, low 50s, and how about Viroqua in the mid 40s? So there's that stalled out front. Again, not right over Madison, but just to the west, and that's why Madison warmer compared to Viroqua. But look at all the rain in the central and western part of the area, but really just kind of looking isolated in the southeastern part of the area. And this is going to be showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and, oh yeah, this evening as well. Look how wet it's going to be in the central and western part of the area. But again, stressing that though there is still an opportunity for rain, looking a lot drier if you're in the Racine, Kenosha area, places like Madison and even on towards the Bosqueville area. But got to say, as far as Friday evening plans go, if you're in the central or western part of the area, looking really wet, like a good Friday night to stay in. You might be able to take the chance, though, in the eastern part of the area where it looks like activity is going to stay isolated because you're not under that stalled out front. Midnight, again, central and western part of the area. Now, probably not seeing thunderstorms anymore. I think it's just going to be plain old rain at this point, but still a lot of it, central and western part of the area, but not so much around Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha. Still breezy, by the way. All right, let's skip a little bit more time here to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So finally, this front gets moving again. All right, so here's this line of activity now that you're seeing over Beaver Dam, Lake Geneva. This is the front finally pushing in to the eastern part of the area. And still the opportunity for showers along of it. It's still breezy early tomorrow morning, but behind the front, the winds are really going to be picking up. And our temperatures are going to be dropping. I'm stopping at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning because these are our high temperatures tomorrow. Okay, in the upper 50s. Look what happens when we jump to 11 a.m. Boom. Maybe still hanging out in the upper 50s. We're seeing Kenosha, but look at Madison, 52, Viroqua, 46. And by the way, this is kickoff. Camp Randall, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. And by the late morning hours, again, the front clear of us, but the winds are really going to be picking up. And I think already in the late morning, we're going to be seeing gusts 30, 35 miles per hour. So certainly a wind chill factor. Now, is the rain chance over with? Not quite. I'm still going to, though there's not going to be much, late morning, early afternoon, there could still be a few stray showers or, yes, stray snow flurries. That is a possibility late morning, early afternoon. But the main story is going to be these falling temperatures and the increasing winds. So as we go through the game, for example, if you're sitting in Camp Randall, it's only going to be getting windier and colder. Look at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now it's 45 in Madison, and by this point we're seeing gusts 40, 45 miles per hour. By the time we get to the late afternoon, the chance for any stray snow flurries, stray rain showers over with. I think we won't be cooling down anymore. We'll still be hanging out mid to upper 40s, but this is when the winds are going to peak tomorrow, late afternoon, probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I think we're going to be seeing gusts 50, 55 miles per hour. I do think we could see gusts in some places reach as high as 55 miles per hour. And when you're talking about gusts 50, 55, not only is it quite unpleasant to be outside when the wind is that strong, but this is the kind of wind that can bring down tree branches, bring down power lines. So I don't think it's going to be widespread, but are we talking about isolated power outages tomorrow afternoon? Yep, that is a possibility. Before we talk about Saturday night and Sunday, and get you covered for the entire weekend, let's talk about those rainfall totals. Look at the crazy variation across the area. So could we only see 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in Racine, Kenosha? Yeah, that's what it's looking like. But then once you get to around Monroe and Watertown, how about 1.5 inches of rain? So from Monroe, Watertown, and areas to the north and west, it's looking like widespread rainfall totals of 1.5 inches to 3 inches. So 2.5 inches. I think that's going to be quite common for the central and western part of the area, but as you can see, not in the eastern part of the area. So for central and western southern Wisconsin, I also got to mention, though 1.5 inches to 3 inches will be common, I think there are going to be a few locations that see 4 or 5 inches of rain, because we are talking about thunderstorms. So I do think we're going to see some totals, 4 or 5 inches. And because of that, I do think that we're talking about some flooded roads once we get particularly into the evening hours tonight. Not widespread, because we're not going to have widespread 4 or 5 inch rain totals, but where those 4 and 5 inch rainfall totals occur, especially if it's in a low lying or poorly drained location, yeah, I do think some flooded roads are a possibility late afternoon and on into the evening hours. But just for the central and western part of the area. All right, so wrapping up, Saturday night, going to be completely dry. Again, the rain chance coming to an end after the early afternoon on Saturday. It will be partly cloudy though, and those winds are going to take some time to die down, probably during the evening hours, still on the windy side. With those gusts around 30, 35 miles per hour, but most of the night just breezy with gusts 20, 25 miles per hour. And actually, considering how chilly it's going to be Saturday afternoon, these low temperatures Saturday night, actually not that bad now. There is going to be a wind chill factor, but normal low temperatures for this time of year would be low 30s. Instead, only cooling down into the upper 30s, low 40s, still above normal. And actually on Sunday, above normal temperatures here as well. Yeah, no, more 70s, but normal for this time of year, high temperatures, low 50s. Instead, I think upper 50s are going to be most common. I think in the southeastern part of the area, low 60s. And probably no cooler than the mid 50s at the coolest. Now, I do say windy Sunday afternoon. I do want to make it clear, not as windy as Saturday. But technically speaking, yes, still windy because gusts are going to be around 30 miles per hour Sunday afternoon. They are going to increase a little bit from Saturday night, but not a repeat of the really strong wind that we're going to see Saturday afternoon.